Hey, hello, friends. Welcome to Blue Pig Reviews. You say, what is that guy got in that glass? What Merc has in the glass today is a little bit of Tawny port. A lot of times I like to sip on Tawny ports and regular ports, like Brotherhood port, or this right here, this Taylor Flaggate port wine. This is a Tawny port. Tawny ports, when you open them, they just go right in the cabinet. No refrigeration required. You can refrigerate them, but I usually don't. They don't last that long. Or with the regular ruby ports, you need to refrigerate them after opening like wine. And this is Brotherhood's, which is a local New York distillery. I try to support my state, but it's also very, very good. There's no reason not to use it. And today what we're going to talk about, because people talk about classes of drinks like Manhattans or Daisies, we're going to talk about one called the TINTON. The TINTON pretty much is two spirits. It's an apple brandy, either Calvados or Applejack, and a port wine, either ruby port or 20 port. Great cocktail. But let's put this aside. It's delicious. We won't put it too far away. We'll get back to that one. And so normally what you think about when you think about the TINTON, because it is a French cocktail per se, and it's early 20th century, you think of Calvados. Like here, this is Bushnell Calvados. And Calvados is normally made in the northern parts of France, either from just apples, sometimes apples and pears, depending on the type. Or on the American side, you have Applejack, which is America's first whiskey. And Laird's, of course, makes plenty of expressions, including a bottle of Bonds. The Laird's older expression, the apple brandy here, which is aged, what is this, 7.5 years, is also very good. And they're good for sipping on their own. People sip on apple brandies, Calvados, and the like all the time without a hang-up. But today we're going to get this into the TINTON cocktail and go from there. And usually when I use Applejack, if I need the proof to go through, I go with the Bond, which is 100 proof. If I need classical taste, I use the age. So the age is going to hang around. Both of them are going to be out here. And with Calvados, Bushnell is one of my favorite everyday use ones, always in my bar. So I'm going to use that. And then you just need your port. So right now we're going to use the Flaggate and we're going to use Bushnell to start off. Originally, the specs on this were 1-to-1. Some have it as 2 parts of the apple, 1 part of the port wine. Traditionally, that, it was a 1-for-1. But there are people that do 2-for-1. And then, of course, there's a more formal TINTON, which comes on the American side, which has Applejack. Throwing two in there. Applejack, your port wine, and then adds a rye. So you're either going to use a high rye bourbon, a traditional rye like Sagamore, which is really good, has its own notes, and then. But today, what we're going to use Wilderness Trail High Rye Bourbon. And this one right here is, I think this is the Llama pick from Blue Streak Wines inside of Long Island City, New York. Rob Braylow is there. Great store. Patronize it. Definitely one of the most honest brokers in selling liquor and bourbon that I've ever met. Well, let's get to mixing, get these bad boys out the way, get them in order. So first we're going to do is we're going to sit down and make the traditional TINTON. So you're going to need a mixing glass with just ice. And then you're going to take 1 ounce of your spirit. Let's go 2 ounces. Let's go to that traditional one. 2 ounces of your spirit. And that's going to be the Bushnell Calvados. Slide that bad boy over there. Run out of room. And then on the opposite side of it, we're going to pair it with the Tawny port, because the Flaggate, because Tawny port holds a little better It's not as sweet, for one, and it goes a long way at 1 ounce. But if you want to go 1 for 1, go 1 for 1. Sky's the limit. I prefer it 1 for 1, but I'm doing it 2 to 1 for you. And of course, I'm using that amazing stirring stick, my metal chopstick. You want to do this till it chills. Get that in there. It takes a little bit. You stir a lot. And it's going to build this cocktail up. And we're going to grab our glass, our chilled coupe here. Got one sitting on the side for you. And we're going to reach over and grab our strainer, Hawthorne. Drop the Hawthorne forward. Technical difficulties in the front. And we'll pour that right out. And you can smell it right away. You smell the apple from the Calvados, and you definitely smell that wine port smell. Get that out of our way. That smell. And you're saying, what do I kind of get this with? 1 to 1, you get better taste than 2 to 1. If you do 2 to 1, you tend to get more of the apple. I prefer to get a balance of the two. This is perfectly good. And normally you would garnish this with a lemon peel, but because it's a learning cocktail, we're just kind of running through this one. And this is good. Definitely an excellent cocktail. But let's try getting this in with the rye whiskey and seeing where that's going to go. So I'm going to put that aside. And I'm going to go down here, grab another mixing tin. And, of course, rinse it out. Grab our mixing glass. Got one today. So we're going to go with that. I'm going to fill that back up. All right. Yeah. All right. Grab us a measuring cup. All right. So this time, oh, shoot, shot glass. Puerto Rico. Hey. Wrong one. All right, shot glass. We're going to go in here. And this time we're going to do the ruby port. I'm going to grab that out. We're going to need 1 ounce of that. Little spillage. 1 ounce of the ruby port. We're going to do 1 ounce of the layered. We're going to use the aged one. 7.5 years deserves some highlight here today. Everything layered makes is awesome to me. So definitely I could say that, so 7.5 years is definitely a good one. And then we're going to go in here and we're going to get this wilderness trail. And this is all going to be equal parts. We're going to use 1 ounce. Oh, little spillage, a little bit over this time. Not paying this firm attention. Wilderness Trail, nice bourbon, and it has a lot of rye spice, so it should go good in here. If you wanted, you could use Old Grandad 114 100. They have a nice rye feel to it. You could use any of the barely legal ryes like Elijah Craig, Wild Turkey 101, or you could proof it up. You could go to a rare breed rye. One of my fallbacks. Yep. Get that. And it's going to take a little bit to chill. Stir. So, what happens with these cocktails, because they're basic or their flavor profile doesn't call, or it's not the season. Normally people reach towards apple flavored things in the fall or in the winter is when you get it. So, that's why these drinks kind of fall off the face of the map. Get us a chilled glass. We'll get this going. And we'll pour this one up. Tinton Traditional. And this one we are going to garnish. This is not a learner. This is what it is. Pull our cutting board over. Slice. Slice. And get a swath of the lemon peel. And this is one of those Cutco knives. Very sharp. Just pressing that over. Get our lemon slice. We're going to demi wedge it because we want it to be functional. Demi wedge. The demi wedge, you run around the glass just like you did that Smith's and Tinton Traditional. 1 part rye, 1 part any of the ports, either ruby or Tawny, and 1 part of your apple brandy, be it Laird's Applejack or Calvados. All right, and that has more dimension. You got the fruit, you got the apple from the Brotherhood port, but then you get that spice in the background that Wilderness Trail gives, that rye spice. Super enjoyable, definitely refreshing. The rye spice from Wilderness Trail stays with you on the end. It longens the finish of this drink. If you use less rye, you would end up with the fruitier notes, but everything is there. It's a perfect cocktail. So then you go, well, where does the TINTON go even further? The TINTON goes even further when it becomes something called the Tetra TINTON. And so I'm going to wash our glass again. Easy reach over. And we're going to ice up. And the Tetra TINTON is exactly what it sounds like. It's a Tetra TINTON. So there's at least 4 or 5 items in it. And in this case, there are 5. So what you're going to have is you're going to have one. You're going to start with a good vermouth. And you could use Cokie, Casals, anyone. And you're going to give that. Everything is in equal measures. We're going to make this big, so we're going to go 1 ounce on each. Really should go 3/4 of an ounce, but I'm going to go 1 ounce on each. I'm going to share this cocktail with other people after it's done. See if they want to taste it. So of your sweet vermouth, then you're going to need 1 ounce of the cognac. And here we're using Hennessy VSOP. You could use any. Hennessy is the house cocktail cognac here. Hands down, Hennessy gets burned here in the library book bar. We use our hen. Hen is in the house. And then we're going to need 1 ounce of our apple brandy. And you know what? I think I'm going to go with the bonded. I'm going to go with the 100 proof. And our Applejack. And get that in there. And then we're going to go with 1 ounce of the Tawny port, the Flaggate, which I do enjoy. Hurt my finger today, so I'm nursing that through in my elbow. And that's in there. And then you're going to need some Peychaud's bitters. And that's, we're going to get those out. Sweet vermouth, our cognac, our wine, Calvados, and our Peychaud. Sorry, my neck was hurting. And I'm going to put 3 in there. I was going to do 2, but I'm like, as I think about it, I think I would rather go that route. And so once you got all that in there, you're going to give this a stir. Yep. And I'm looking at my lemon like there's a huge swath out of it. I'm going to give that a quick run. And this could, this can go the distance right here as far as getting it going. We're going to use I didn't chill a glass for this one. I normally do, but we can remedy that. While I'm stirring this, I will chill a glass. I'll grab one from the deck, and put a little ice in it. You fill it with ice and set it aside, it'll chill nicely. That was my bad. I didn't set up for that. So keep it stirring. And I'm using my stick today. I didn't use my spoon. I got a huge bar spoon chilling, and I was like, you know what? It's sitting here. It's on the bar. Let's get it to use. And that's nicely chilled. I'm going to get that. I'm going to strain that. Chill the glass. Get that in there. And this is the Tetra TINTON. Put that aside. And that's going to get a lemon garnish too. And the express lemons, we're going to get a little peel. Cutco knife, of course. Taking the skin off with no problems whatsoever. And get us a nice demi wedge. And hit that rim. Gold plated rim with that demi wedge. And we are cocktailed. Tetra Tinton. Oh, now that's special. The Peychaud bitters and the Hennessy bring new dimension to the Tinton. This is an awesome drink. This beats these two bad boys here, the Traditional and what's called, even though they look about the same color. You get the apple, you get the wine notes, you get the spice from the vermouth, and you get the sweetness from the Hennessy. You get that sweet cognac taste. Tetra Tinton is the winner. Go out and try a Tinton. Get yourself some port wine, even if it's not Brothers. If it's not a nice Taylor Flaggate, any of them, any port wines, get in there, get yourself some nice apple brandy, a nice Calvados, a nice Applejack, and get blending. Expand your palate. These are great drinks. These are great American drinks if you're an American. The great French drinks if you're French. Cocktails is pretty much universal. And like I said, if it tastes good, then you're drinking good, and it's all good. Cheers to good pouring. Go out and enjoy some Tintons from Blue Pig Reviews. And yeah, I'm taking the Tetra with me. You boys hang around. I'll be back for you later on.